Yeah, very good morning to all of you. And in yesterday class, our session ended with the topic, the difference between the compiler versus interpreter. And these are the 7 differences between the compiler and the interpreter. And here we're having the last difference with an example, that is for the compilers we are using C. We're using C compilers for the compilers, and for the interpreters we're using the programming language that is in Basicware, which is the most important example for the interpreter. These are the 7 examples that we are making into comparison between the compilers and the interpreters. Yeah, coming to the concept of language processing phases, and in this class I'm going to deliver about the introduction to language processing phases, and why the language processing system is, and what are the phases that are involved in language processing. Phases that are involved in language processing, and briefly explaining with an example. And first, initially we had to know why the language processing system is. What is language processing system? What is language processing system? See, here we have learned that any computer system is made of both the hardware and the software. Everyone is familiar with the computers, and everyone is familiar with the word hardware, and everyone is familiar with the word software. So here the computer system is made of hardware and the software. The hardware understands a language which humans cannot understand. In the yesterday class we already see the slide, like understanding the binary language is very hard. Why? Because the binary language consisting of a series of zeros and ones. A human can't understand easily. A human can't. Reading of the language is easy. Why? Because with the series of zeros and ones, but understanding of the language is very hard. So the hardware can understand the language which humans cannot understand. So for that purpose we write the programs in high level language, where high level languages are C++, Java, so on and so on. These are all comes under the high level languages. So we write the programs in high level language which is easier for us to understand and remember. And these programs are then, whatever the high level programs that we are writing, what we are easily understand, all those we can remember. And these programs are then fed into a series of tools. What the tools are? Here we are talking about an tools are nothing but an compiler tools. These programs are then fed into a series of tools and OS components to get the desired code that can be used by the machine. See, machine level language can be understood by the machine. High level language can be understood by the users. And who are writing the code, who are executing the code, all the users who are need to perform something, need to implement something by writing the compiler's code. They always prefer high level language. They should always prefer the high level language programmings. So again, I'm repeating here the point that these programs are then fed into a series of tools. So once all of you see the slide here, what the slide consisting of? The slide consisting of some phases, and these phases are nothing but an series of tools and OS components to get the desired code that can be used by the machine. And this is the way that we are defining what the language processing system is. And while coming in detail, by learning with the structure, by briefly describing with the structure, here what the structure consisting of. By seeing the slide, you can easily understand the structure. What and what the structure consisting of. See here, series of tools are, the first tool is a pre-processing tool, the second tool is a compiler tool, the third tool is an assembler tool, and the fourth tool is an linker or loader tool. And these are the tools that are consisting in this language processing phases. First, initially, what we are doing here, we are giving the source program. Source program in the sense, for example, I am writing an Java program. The Java program is an input program here. That we are calling it as an source program. That we're calling here it as an source program. Taking the source program and performing the pre-processing techniques and then getting an output in the form of an modified source program, and that modified source program is taking as an input to the compiler, and after performing the compilation, then finally we are generating the target assembly language, and then after generating the target assembly language, that is taking as an input to the assembler, and assembler after assembler performing the assembler, and then it generates an output in the form of a relocatable machine code, and this relocatable machine code is sent to the linkers or loader tools, and then finally we are getting an target machine code. And this is what we explained when we're defining the definition of the compiler. When we are defining the compiler, there it's a how we define the compiler. Compiler basically is a translator. It translates from one language to the another language, translating from one language to the another language. And again, in the concept of an interpreter, there also we define like that. Interpreter is also a translator, and it also translates from one language to the another language. And here we're having the another translator, that is an assembler, where we are calling this as a tool here. Assembler is also an type of an translator. It also came from the family of the translator family, and assembler also translates the language, translates from one language to the another language. See here, if you see the slide, you all see the red mark indications, red arrow indications. Once all of you see the red arrow indications there, and initially we are giving the source. From the after performing the preprocessor, we are getting something that is taking as an input to the compiler, and after performing the compilation, we are getting something, and that is taking as an input to the assembler, and after performing the assembler, then we are getting something, and that is taking as an input to the link. See what type of a technique it is. It is a pre-processing technique. Here we're performing the pre-processing technique in language processing phases. Pre-processing technique means preprocessors are also generally considered as an part of the compilers. Is a tool that produces the input for the compilers. And after performing the pre-processing, we are getting some output. We are generating some output. That output is acting as an input to the compilers. So here we are doing the pre-processing technique. Pre-processing technique means taking the input of taking the output of the previous phase as an input to the current phase. Make a note that taking the output of the previous phase is taking as a taking the output of previous phase as an input to the current phase. For example, now I want to implement the compilers. I want to do the compilation. And from where I'm getting the input, the output of the preprocessor is taking as an input to the compiler. So that type of technique can be called as a pre-processing technique, where this preprocessor is a tool here. Preprocessor is an important tool where it is a part of the compiler. As a part of the compiler, it is an tool. So taking the output of previous phase as an input to the current phase and implementing and generating the output. This is nothing but a pre-processing technique. And here briefly describing about the structure of this language processing phases. First initially, the high level language is converted into binary language in various phases. As we all know the sentence, high level language is converted into binary language. Why? Because directly we are not generating the target code. In between, we are having different types of translators. After performing and implementing the different types of translators, then finally we are generating the machine level code. And what it means is the high level language is converted into a binary language in various phases. This is what we all know. This is what we all know. Uh, Directly, we are not generating the machine level language. And the next one, a compiler is a program. The next phase, second phase, compiler is a program. What we are doing here, we are converting the high level language to the assembly level language. See, here also we are not directly converting into a machine level language. First step is from the compilers we are compiling, or we are translating the high level language into the assembly level language. Why? Because assembly level language consisting of two types. One is a low level language, low level language consisting of two types. One is an assembly level language, another one is an machine level language. So we're not directly converting into an machine level language. We're first converting it into, translating it into an assembly level language, and that output, the target assembly language is an output from the compiler, and this is taking as an input to the assembler. Now similarly, an assembler is a program. An assembler is a program. What the assembler can do, again it converts the assembly language into an machine level language, converting the assembly level language into an machine level language. That is the operation that we are performing with an assembler. By using the translator assembler, we're performing, where what it means is we're translating from assembly to the machine level language. See, let us first understand how a program using a C compiler is executed on a host machine. Why? Because every student is familiar with executing the programs, writing the codes in different languages, and you all know how to execute the program. And before running the program, you all know how to compile the program. So taking an C program as an example here, let us first understand how a program using a C compiler is executed on a host machine. First, from the source program itself, again I'm explaining with an C program. Taking an example as a C program, now I'm going to explain with this briefly. And C users write a program in C language where it is a high level language. For example, I'm writing a C language program that I'm considering it as a high level language program. So that is my source program here. That is my source program here. And that is an input program that I am giving to the preprocessor. Initially, I am giving my input to the preprocessor as a source program. My source program is an high level language program where it is a C program. C program. Okay. Then the next phase is compiler. Now what I am doing here is the C compiler compiles the program and translates it into an assembly program. What it means is I am translating from high level to low level here. Why? Because assembly language is from the low level language. So I am converting from high level to the low level. And here compiler phase, what I performed in the compiler phase is C compilers. By using the C compiles the program and translates it into assembly program where it is an low level language. And now the third phase, an assembler then translates the assembly program. Why? Because the compiler generates an output in the form of an assembly language. Then now we are taking this assembly language as an input to the assembler. Now this by using this assembler, it translates the assembly program into machine code, where the machine code is nothing but an object code here. Object code. And as I already said that, or we already seen in the slide of difference between the compiler and the interpreter, compilers generate the intermediate code. That means it generates the object code, while coming to the interpreter does not generates the object code. So here an assembler then translates the assembly program into machine code, where the machine code is an object code. And then whatever we are getting an output from the assembler, it is taking as an input to the linker or loader. Linker or loader are both the two tools here. We are implementing two tools. How they are going to be performed is, A linker tool is used to link all the parts of the program together for execution. See here, for example, we're having some library files, or we're having some relocatable object files. All these are all the files. Making them together, linking all the parts of the program together. For what? To execute. To execute. For executable of the machine code, we are linking all those files. So for that purpose, we are using the tool linker. And what the loader will do, what the task of the loader is, this loader is also a tool here. How it is acting as, it always loads all of them into the memory. All of them into the memory. And then the program is executed. See here, at last we get a target machine code. Target machine code is nothing but a target code. And after giving the, initially when we are giving the source program, then finally we are getting a target machine code. This is a machine level code. We are calling it as an object code. And for executing this target machine code, we are performing these tools. We are performing these tools. And this can be called as an overall process of language processing system. And by implementing each and every phase, by implementing each and every tool, and by performing the pre-processing technique, here we are seeing the system. This system is nothing but an language processing system. It is very easy to understand. Why? Because the red mark indications show that what the output that we are generating from that phase, and from where it is going as an input to the other phase. By seeing this slide, you can all of you make a running notes that the structure of the language processing phases, most and most important structure. And I briefly explained the structure with an C program. C program. Why? Because C program is a high level language that I am considering as a source program. And by giving the C program to the preprocessor, and after modifying that C source program, then it it is going to the compiler as an input, the compiler taking as an input of the modified source, and then it compiles and generating an assembly language, and the assembler is taking as an input from the compiler, where the compiler generated an assembly language that is acting as an input to the assembler, and after converting the assembly to the machine level language, this machine level object code is linked to the linkers or the loaders, and finally we are generating the target code. Finally we are generating the target code. This is the four phase structure. This is a four phase structure where we are calling these four phases are the most important tools of the compilers. Each and every phase is one tool here. Each and every phase is a part of an compiler here. Every tool is a part of an compiler. And this is a brief description about the language processing phases. I briefly described about the language processing phases by giving an example with the high level language as an C program. And now, before diving straight into the concepts of the compiler, we should understand few other tools that work closely with the compilers. Few other tools that work closely with the compilers. And you can all of you make a note that I am defining each and every tool, and make a note of those tools and listen the brief description of each tool. The first tool is an preprocessor tool. The first tool is an preprocessor tool. And by using these tools, making a series of these tools, we are implementing the language processing system. We are doing the process of language processing system by using these series of tools. The first tool is an preprocessor tool, where this preprocessor, again I am explaining about the preprocessor as I already explained before, is generally considered as a part of a compiler, and also it is a tool that produces the input for the compilers. And always these preprocessors deals with macro processing, or any type of an language extensions, or any type of an file inclusions, or any type of an augmentations. All these are all comes under the preprocessor. One thing you all should make a note that preprocessor is a tool which comes under a part of the compiler, And also the preprocessor is a technique that we're applying for carrying out the process of compilation, that we're applying for carrying out of the process of compilation. This is the most important thing you have to make a note. Carrying out of the process of compilation, preprocessor technique is plays a major role, playing a vital role. Preprocessor technique plays a vital role for the process of compilation. Why? Because the, whenever we are implementing the processing technique, there itself we are knowing that, and the output of the other phase is acting as an input for the current phase. The output of the other phase is acting as an input for the current phase. So that is nothing but an pre-processing. And the next one, and the next tool is interpreter. Interpreter. We have learnt in the last class what the interpreter is and what the structure of interpreter is and what the examples of the interpreter is. And again, I'm repeating the tool about the tool like an interpreter. Interpreter is also an tool here. It's a software tool, and here is just like a compiler. We all know it's just like a compiler, and then translates high level language to the low level machine language. Translating high level to the low level machine level language. That is the definition of the interpreter, where it is also an tool, software tool. It is just like an compiler. And here what we are doing in the interpreter, in an interpreter, in the slide of comparison between the compiler versus interpreter, there we saw 7 differences between the compiler and the interpreter. In those 7 differences, and one difference is that an interpreter reads a statement from the input, converts it into an intermediate code, and it executes, then takes the next statement in a sequence. What it means is, line by line interpretation takes place in an interpreter, and while coming to the compiler, entire program at a time we are executing entire program at a time we are executing in the compiler. Line by line statements can be executed by the interpreter. That is the most important difference. And when we are defining the tool like an interpreter, it can this statement can also be considered as the definition of the interpreter. And next, if an error occurs in an interpreter, automatically the interpreter stops the execution and reports it. Automatically the interpreter stops the execution and reports it. But while coming to the compiler, after compilation of the entire program, then we can know what type of an errors that we are getting in our program. But while coming to the interpreter, line by line, statement by statement, we are knowing what type of an error that we are getting. So this is also an most important tool. Interpreter is an most important tool. And then the third phase here in language processing phase, third phase is an assembler. See, assembler is also an software tool. Assembler is also an tool. And what the assembler is doing here, translating assembly language program into machine code. Translating assembly language program into machine code. And the output of an assembler is called as an object file. Why is because see here, see in the structure. Once all of you see the slide, where the structure consisting of an assembler phase, and from the assembler the red arrow shows that relocatable machine code. What it means is it is generating an object files there, and after translating from assembly to machine code, what type of an output it is going to be generated? Object files. It is generating an object files, which contains what is an object file means. The object file contains combination of machine instructions, combinations of some machine instructions, as well as the data required to place these instructions in the memory. See here, and after getting the target machine code, what we are doing, what we're doing here, we're placing it into the memory. We're placing it into the memory, placing all the object code or the machine code, whatever we get in the form of a target code, that we're placing them into the memory. And this is nothing but an assembler. Assembler is also an tool. Assembler is also came from the family of an translator. And the next tool, that is an linker. See here, the last phase, linker or loader. Linker is also a tool here. What the linker is going to be performed here? Linker is an computer program. Linker is an computer program. What it is going to be do is it links, this linker links and merges various object files together in order to make an execution file. See here, after compilation, what we are doing, we are running the program and we are executing the code. Executing the code in the executing the code means what we are getting there, executable files we are getting. Means in between the compilation, and the executable program, what the process is going to be done is linker or loader tools are going to be implemented. Linker or loader tools are going to be implemented, then the program is going to be run, and finally we are getting the executable output. And the major task of this linker, the major task of this linker is search and locate the referenced modules in a program. For example, we are having different library files, library routines, object files, and so on and so on. We are having different files. So searching them and locating them with a referenced module in a program is done by the linkers. That is the major task of the linker. And the next tool is loader. Loader. Here, loader is part of an operating system. You all know what is an operating system. Loader is part of an operating system and is responsible. What is the responsibility of the loader? Is responsible for loading executable files into the memory and create some memory space for it. That is the task of the loader. Loader is a part of an operating system, always responsible for loading the files, loading the executable files. Make a note there. Loaders always responsible for loading the executable files into the memory and execute them. And these are the five tools in the sense, here we're having the four tools, and the another one is an interpreter, is another tool in the compilers. And we're having other more tools like an source to source compilers and the cross compilers. Cross compilers we're having a concept in our syllabus, and while coming to the source to source compilers, where it is another type of a tool here, another tool. What the source to source compiler, make a note in our notes. Source to source compiler is nothing but a compiler that takes the source code of one programming language and translates it into the source code of another programming language. See, get the difference. For example, here I'm having two types of a programming language. I'm choosing two types of programming languages. And initially, compiler takes the source code of one programming language and translate it into the source code of another programming language. That can be called as an source to source compiler. Source to source compiler is one of the tool here we are implementing, and these are the most important tools. What I explained now, one is a preprocessor tool, another one is a compiler tool, another one is an interpreter, and then assembler, and finally linker, and finally an loader. These are the most important tools we are having in the compilers. So by using these tools, we are implementing the processing system, and we are also implementing how the phases of compilations are carried out, how the phases of compilation is carried out by using these tools. In the next class, we are going to learn in detail about parts of the compilation, and how many parts of compilations are there, and in detail explanation about each and every part. And then finally we are entering into the main most important concept, various phases of the compiler with an neat structure. And up to now I explained you, I make you to understand what the language processing phases are, and how many tools we are having, most important tools in the compilers. If you have any doubts, anyone can raise. Are you all clear about this session, today's session? In this session, I completed the concept language processing phases. If you have any doubts, can you please do the message in the chat box? Yeah.
Students, don't give space in the roll numbers.
Okay, sir.
And dear students, and every session is going to be uploaded in our YouTube channel. You all can go and search there itself by clicking on the today's concept. Then you'll get the presentation, today's presentation. If you want to refer, you can refer there itself. Or else at the end of this week, we are finalizing all these mail IDs, updating all these mail IDs. So at the end of this week, we will share to you in your mail IDs, not in your groups. Okay, then the session is going to be ended. Thank you all, and get ready for the next class for the concept parts of compilers. For the concept parts of compilers. Thank you all.